Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, and that odd relative that touched you a little bit strangely when you were a child, welcome. Welcome to solo casting with Nova War. I'm gonna hit myself up with that noise. Boop! Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bit of filler as Mr. Maximus Black is down south having a grand old time drinking all sorts of alcohol and dancing in the Dominican sun, while we are up here, ironically, or coincidentally, dancing in the Canadian sun. We've had a really weird heat wave happen in the last couple of days here. It was up to like 27 degrees, which is absolutely nuts, which I think is actually, again, coincidentally, about the same temperature that he is receiving down there in the Dominican right now. But let me introduce these players, shall we? Up here in the top left position here on Shakoris Plateau, we're looking at Rhilenova. Yes, I was biased and picked them out of the chat simply because Nova. And down here in the bottom right position, we're looking at Kneighbors. Kneighbors. Or neighbors. I'm not going to make a Ned Flanders joke, I'm sorry. You can do that on your own at home. I'm sure you do a much better job than I would anyway. And so these two guys are, of course, you can see in the top right of your screen, these guys are bronze, and I am live streaming this right now. I've just got our overlays up there, the sexy overlay down here and everything, just wonderful. It's like we never left YouTube. It's like we never left YouTube. So we have all sorts of excellent folks watching here on the live streams, and this stuff will, of course, be on YouTube like you're watching it right now. And this was the easiest way for me to do this, so that I can get as much content up to you guys as possible. I apologize that it took this long to get some stuff up this week. The reason being that I was working on the website for the last few days, and only last night at about 6 o'clock in the morning finished what I needed to finish for the upcoming conference on Monday. Good news, website coming along quite well. It's coming along quite well, and we're coming down to the final bits. I guess I can talk some Starcraft now that I've gotten all the usual out of the way. Of course, there's not a lot happening right now. Kneighbors just getting his overlords out into, well, what is quite honestly kind of dangerous positions. They will likely fall to Stalker Fire eventually if Rhilenova actually gets down there at some point here in the near future. Rhilenova basically looking to build up to what, for all intents and purposes, looks like some kind of 4-gate. I can't find out anything if we're going to wait for Warp Gate research to go down here. Bob has just popped out and he's standing there in his place. He might want to turn around though, not get caught by surprise. Surprise butt sex is the worst kind of butt sex. Of course, some people might actually say otherwise. Very nice down here, just going to send his probe back and forth here on a patrol to stop the expansion, but he should know that at this point, if there's no expansion, well, he shouldn't be worrying about it. He should be more worried about aggression. And as we can see right here, Kneighbors is actually getting the Roach Warren up pretty early. They're the first few Zerglings out on the field. And I'll be interested to see if they are going to go directly up or wait for some support. And by the looks of it, they're actually going to take a little bit of a journey over here into Rhilenova territory. Now he's got his pylon over here just to make sure there's nothing fancy happening. Maybe even put some hidden tech over here later on if necessary. Getting his second assimilator, a couple more gateways down. This is now down to 3. Still waiting to see if this is going to be a 4-gate or maybe even a 3-gate expand or maybe even 3-gate something. I don't know. This is bronze. Anything can happen. And look at that. Bob immediately turning around wisely enough. He's not even really holding position, I don't think. A second Bob just coming out in the nick of time, actually. And this is good timing. He's got to be very careful, though. He doesn't want to lose these zealots. He needs to be able to keep them as healthy as possible here for the near future. Now we're looking back down here. Kneighbors real quick, getting up that expansion. He knows that his opponent is not expanding himself. Great time to grab that expansion. Also seeing just 3 gateways right now, all being chronoed out of these units here, and of course that is because the Warp Gate tech was just on the brink of finishing and he'd already started these units, so trying to get those out without canceling, not a bad idea at all. Now has his 2 Bobs, 2 Steves, and he is getting ready to go back outside here. These are great. Kneighbors are just going to be able, or is just going to be able to find out when the push is coming, and maybe even try and keep one of these alive to go back in shortly thereafter to make sure that there's no expansion, and they are going to all go down there, all of those Zerglings, and it looks like Rhilenova is now going to push out, and it's not a half bad time either. Kneighbors expansion has yet to finish. It is just on the cusp of finishing now, just going up, and it looks like he is going to take this opportunity to push out. I'm waiting to see a probe come down, and there it is. Is he going to expand, or is he going Yep, he will likely expand with that. I wasn't sure if he was going to bring it down here for a proxy. I'm surprised he didn't send a second probe for that very reason. We have 3 more Stalkers back up here for Nova. And it looks like Kneighbors hasn't really gotten into the Roach production yet. He had that Roach Warren up early, but never really produced anything out of it, which was kind of surprising to me. But at the same point, maybe he's just got something else in mind. Maybe he was scared of a push that required the Roaches, but I can't personally think of anything. And as I thought before, look at that. The Stalker Fire will get rid of these 2 Overlords, and that's a terrible, terrible thing to happen. This is a great time to get a proxy pylon down here, because he could do serious damage right now. He is forcing the production of Overlords simply by that poor placement. 2 Spinecrawlers going down a bit late, I think. It would have been nice to take some of these Zerglings and take over the towers. Now 2 Queens coming down to try and reinforce that small amount of Zergling. Not a whole lot here that he can defend with, and he's going to be forced to try and defend this last Spinecrawler. But 2 more Stalkers coming up now, and that Queen is going to get picked off, I'm afraid, yes, and the second one might also go down as well. But right now he's focus firing on that Spinecrawler. It does not get cancelled in time. The Queen will go down, and I think we're about to see a GG scenario here. There is no Roaches being produced, only 6 Zerglings, no Larva to really get anything up right now at this point. Still no Proxy Pylon, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Rhilenova looks like he is going to be taking this game without a whole lot of resistance. A couple of Zerglings coming out, maybe get it, no, won't even get 1 Stalker down. Back up here, we're looking at a bunch more Zerglings. No Roaches to be found anywhere here for Kneighbors, and that could be a bit of an issue. He needed at least a couple. He had creep advantage. Not perfect to go up against Stalkers with Roaches, but you need some at least if you're going to throw down a bunch of Zerglings like that. And a GG does in fact go down for Kneighbors, and Rhilenova will be taking our bronze game past. Well done, sir. Well done indeed.